Morning, morning, morning. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nine TV here at Bahnsport HQ, where we are attending a very important remarriage ceremony today. Not involving a loved up couple, but even better than that, flat six going back into the actual car. The actual little Irish is back in the scene and on the channel after a restful hiatus over at my parents' house in Essex. So the old man dropped the car down yesterday, which you can see is now resplendent on the ramp. There were a couple of like little snags found, as to be expected, I would say, but nothing that isn't going to stop this project keep rolling. The detail of it we'll show in another episode. We'll keep dragging the content out, and who knows, we might get out of this mess alive. But anyway, in the meantime, since the last update, you've seen that Scotty has popped the gearbox back with the engine. The engine is still dry. Inside there is obviously the single mass flywheel. We did in the end go for a sprung hub friction plate, so thank you to those that were pointing that out. I lost my bottle in the end and decided I needed those vibrations absorbed because this is going to be a daily driver. I do want to point these out, and again, just to reiterate what I said earlier on, you know, a lot of these kind of rebuild videos that you see on YouTube, the project is lavish with a load of new parts and the whole thing, you know, is all kind of done up like Southend Seafront. This is reality. You know, you have to make your money stretch as far as you can. So as I said earlier on, that, you know, yes, these aren't looking the best, but they're going to do a job for now, certainly until I get a better understanding of what the car sounds like with the new cats and the manifolds. And then I can perfect the sound another time. I'm prepared for it to be quite loud because, as you can see, it's still got the Gundo hack. So yeah, with the 200 cell cats and the equal length headers, it is going to be loud, but I didn't want to rush that decision in terms of flat six soundtrack on the car. So we'll revisit that another time. And again, it's just an example of the reality of these situations. Scott, on inspecting Little Irish when it came back into the workshop after its winter slumber, identified a leaky slave cylinder, so that has been replaced. There's a couple of other little bits and pieces that do need doing on the car, but as I said, we're going to cover that in further detail another time. These were, well, pretty much hanging off. Scott has managed to do a temporary fix on those because we are really up against it for time now in order to get this car on a planned road trip that it simply has to attend. So they're on. That's kind of it, really. Sound deadening's looking a little bit tired, but I'm not too fussed. Scott's pointed out that it has been like reaffixed to the top of the engine bay at some point. That's kind of it, isn't it, Scotty? Anything else that's worth pointing out? All good. I'll get out of the way and prepare for the marriage ceremony. No, this is more celebration than ceremony. So as engine and gearbox once again meets car, less party. The flat six engine was home by manner of a couple of bolts. To bring it to life though, all manner of plumbing and wires needed reconnecting, while the hydraulic system needed bleeding, and so ensued a period of the car going up and down on the ramps as Scott worked through his list. Watching everything getting connected up was quite emotional in a way. This was the culmination of a 5-month episode I couldn't wait to see the back of, and finally, the end felt like it was in sight. Well, sort of, because there is an addenda to the story which I'll reveal in another episode, but suffice to say, This car simply had to be ready for a huge road trip which was long planned and coming up fast. Possibly too fast. We'll circle back round to this next episode. We'd not really had any bumps in the road just yet, but the aircon system soon presented one. It turns out the AC lines had more holes than a colander. This would be a fight for another day. After more checks and another round of bleeding, it was time to lump in some oil and start coating those internal parts ready for the first crank. As mentioned previously, this motorsport oil from Miller's is the specified way forward for this engine now, and it's not cheap. 10 litres costing me just shy of 150 notes, by the way. Coolant soon followed, before the airbox was installed and the battery connected, before the lights went down and the stage was set for the main event. I hear we're approaching a big moment.
Yeah, engine box back in. It's all plumbed from a fluids point of view. Still got cross braces and arms and roll bar off, and obviously no bumper and heat shields, but that's not stopping us from starting it. So yeah, we've got antifreeze in it, we've got oil in it. I've put Penticin power steering oil in it, so that's all good. So what I'll do now is probably take the fuel pump fuse out, crank it over a few times, get a little bit of oil pressure built up before first start. There's going to be a couple of horrific noises from the car. So power steering system isn't bled, so the pump is got air bubbles in it and things like that. So when we first start it up, we're going to have to go lock to lock on the steering to basically bleed all the air out of the hydraulics for the power steering. I'll probably flick it off straight away, top the fluid back up. And then that hopefully would have sucked a bit more coolant through it. So we'll top that back up and then hopefully first start. But it will sound, you've got to remember there's no oil in the tappets. It's a fresh build. So there's going to be a few rattles and ticks and taps that you probably get a bit twitchy at. But it's all kind of normal as soon as the oil pressure's all built up and circulating and it all gets up to temperature, everything will all sort of settle out and it'll be lovely and sound like a nice well-oiled sewing machine.
In terms of just like this immediate running in scenario, so you're going to put some oil in and drop it pretty much straight away?
It's probably a little bit overkill. A lot of places don't do this, but it's something I've always done is, especially on a full build, is put oil in it, I'll probably start it up, get it up to temperature and operating temperature on the ramp, so it'll be running for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. First thing I'll do then is just dump that oil straight out of it, fresh oil filter, and then put fresh oil in it again, and then it's ready to actually then run on the road for the first sort of 100-mile running in process that again I like to do. Purely reason is there's going to be impurities in there from the build, bit of dust, sealant, any excess sealant, greases, all the high pressure greases for the Conrod bearings, everything for first start's all going to be circulating and going through. So if there is anything horrible in there, oil filter is going to catch that straight away, and then we can just swap that out, put a fresh straight in, just so we keep it as fresh and clean, brand new oil in there as much as possible. It's probably a bit overkill, a lot of places don't do it, but it's just something that I like to do. Just keeps it top tip. And then hopefully all good. It would still take a long time until it fires, but also what I'll do is I'll get it so it fires up, then I'll go lock to lock a couple of times, and then what I'll do is I'll flick it straight off again, because I don't want that power steering pump running dry, because what it'll probably do is it'll bleed. You think it's drained all the fluid out of the lines, reservoir's got fluid in it, so start it up, pump's going to be running at idle, that'll draw all that fluid down, make a bit of a horrible noise where the pump's dry. I'll then flick it off, get the power steering level set right, so it's not a noisy pump. See what I mean about the noises?
And then Life after M96 death. I'm not crying, you're crying. Seriously, I tried to play it cool in that workshop, but watching that engine fire up for the first time was a highly charged experience for me. This was the resus moment, and a huge triumph over adversity made possible thanks to a lot of people keen to see this car, a bloody car, moving again. And there it was, in front of my eyes. Pistons punching, pulleys spinning, tappets tapping, and tailpipes snorting a flat six soundtrack. How did it feel? Absolutely top of the range.
Loads of smoke and steam coming off of it. You've got to remember that everything's been touched, disturbed, it's got silicone on it, cleaning products, general dust, exhaust is all brand new, wax oils, so all of this steam is going to just be the engine getting up to operating temperature for its first run.
Yeah.
So don't panic, it's not on fire, completely normal, as expected. But yeah, it's idling lovely. Quite low down, so that, for me, that's brand new tappets. They're going to be setting and bedding in.
Yeah.
Once oil's all in there, they're all full up. That'll probably go after 20 minutes, half an hour. Yeah. Sounds very fruity, doesn't it?
It does. While I was overcome with a short yet sudden and very extreme bout of hay fever, and it was hay fever, Scott checked the vitals and topped up fluids. Scott's earlier musings proved accurate. There were many strange sounds emitting from the flat six as it was groaning back into life, accompanied by a strange smell. The only way I can describe it was, it smelled like the London Underground during that first run, a dry, dusty, musky smell, which gradually faded, to be fair, as the day wore on. Some final parts needed going on the car, including that new rear anti-roll bar, before this entirely not so enjoyable next step of the process. £150 flushed down the Kermit in less time than the length of this video. We'll chalk this one up as one last financially painful kick in the bath bombs.
So basically, we've had it running on the ramp for 20 minutes, half an hour, all up to temperature, bled all the fluids, just dumped the oil out of it now. I'm going to do a quick oil filter swap. And like you can see here, look, we've got a little bit of sealant, a little bit of black bits in there. Just things as expected from the build, to be honest with you. So that's what we don't really want circulating the engine, especially on the braking. There will no doubt be a little bit more on its next one. But yeah, just going to put that in the bin. These are cheap as chips, and put a brand new fresh one in it now that we've had that initial start and that initial braking. And then we can do the road testing and get some miles on it.
Fresh oil went in and the rear bumper went on as the last piece in this 28k Porsche puzzle. Rebuilt and running, next stop for this reborn 911 is the road.